Welcome everyone. This is Arley Paez, Lina Apaunza, and Noemi Johanna Panadero. We are a group of students of English that belongs to the University San Buenaventura in Colombia. We will speak here about the term interlanguage, using by reference the book Temas sobre la adquisición de una segunda lengua by Trilas Editorial, by Elena Maria dos Silva Gomez and Aline Signoren dos Carbero. Let's join us. Introduction. In the present video, we will explain the term interlanguage, the meaning, and the three main elements and qualities that make it up. Also, we will share with you a material of a real Colombian students of English to explain a deeply analysis about this subject. Let's start to make part of the beautiful way to learn the process of how the students learn a second language or a foreign language. Summary about interlanguage. Which are the three main elements of interlanguage? Examples of the students, analysis of each one, conclusions, bibliography, and credits.
Interlanguage is a theory by Larry Selinker, an American professor of applied linguistics. It is the process in which the learner mixes the elements of the mother tongue and the second or foreign language, trying to use the goal language. It doesn't matter if it's using the correct elements for the second language or not. The three main elements are L1, native language or mother tongue, L2 or FL, which means second language and foreign language respectively, IL, which means interlanguage, the process between L1 and the understanding of L2.
In the interlanguage, there are factors that may produce changes or effects in the process of learning a second language, which can be biological, that affects the way and process to learn L1, and also the process of L2 or second language learning. In the interlanguage, there are factors that are developed when a person is trying to learn a second language, which depend on a psychological process. Errors in the interlanguage process. There are four types of errors, or three types of errors, but there is one additional, and that is, in this case, interlingual errors. There are the errors that they happen when you try to use the grammar, or when you try to use the second language, a foreign language, and you make grammar mistakes of the language. Interlingual errors are the errors that you make when you try to use the rules of the first language on the second language. And there are also development errors that they are related with the development, and also there are fossilization errors, or there are some errors that once you make those errors, you try to use always this type of error, and it's difficult to stop making that error later. In this video, we can identify the interlanguage, and we can see how students trying to use the correct grammar tenses in order to describe or give an idea in English. All right, but in this case, we can identify how the correct order of the idea is not correct, taking into account the rules of the second language. So in this case, we can see an intra-language error that is generated here by the student trying to give his ideas in English. In this sample, we can identify how a student tries to identify what's the correct meaning and what's the correct use of every phrasal verb in English, taking into account his knowledge in Spanish. In this sample, we can identify how students trying to use interlanguage in order to understand what the correct pronunciation is, but taking into account the knowledge of the first language, he's trying to use this knowledge in order to understand what the pronunciation is of the second language. This is another example of how the first language is used in order to try to identify the uses and the meaning of the vocabulary in English.
In this example, the student is trying to make a feature sentence. As we can see in the first and the second exercise, she made a grammar mistake when she put the subject after the main verb.
In this example, we can identify how a student is trying to use the correct rules in English, that is the foreign language, but he makes mistakes because he's in the interlanguage process. In this interlanguage process, he doesn't use the S on the first line. That should be the rule that he would have to use in simple present, but he didn't use it because he didn't realize about the rule. Taking into account that he is in the interlanguage process and he doesn't handle well the rules of the foreign language. This is another sample in which we can identify that the learner didn't use in the correct way the rules that he would have to use in a foreign language, taking into account that he didn't realize about the rules because he's in the interlanguage process and he doesn't know well the rules because he's learning those rules in the process.
First, it is important to know the type of structures that are developed in the student's learning process in order to implement learning and teaching strategies to get a better result. Second, interlanguage is the internal structure system in which a learner builds constantly the process of learning a second or foreign language, whether or not it conforms the native speaker's grammar rules. Third, errors and mistakes are the main subject of study to learn and build the best way in the teaching of a second language.